Folks, man, let's get right into it, man. Dallas loses yesterday 34-17 to the Los Angeles Chargers. Last home game of the season at AT&T Stadium. First half, the offense came out firing 17-21 at the halftime, right? The Chargers were up 21-17, but we saw some good things in the first half. We saw Dak connect with George Pickens, Dak connect with Ryan Flanoy, and it seemed like we was on to something early. But second half, man, shut out. No points in the second half for the offense, man. But this defense, once again, blown coverages. It didn't look good, man. It didn't look good, folks. And quite frankly, I don't see how it is possible that Matt Eberflus retain his job today. I don't get it. Not after yesterday. Obviously, yesterday he went up to the booth for the first time this season. A decision that was made between him and Coach Schottenheimer for him to go up to the booth. Coach Aaron Whitecott, the defensive line coach, was handling the sideline duties for this game. And same results. You saw an unmotivated defense out there. Justin Herbert has been the most harassed quarterback in the NFL all season long. The Chargers have given up 40 sacks on the offensive side. And if you ask me, I would have told you before the game. I gave it in my prediction. I said the Cowboys' defensive line is getting ready to go off with or without Quentin Williams in this football game. But no sacks registered for the Dallas Cowboys in yesterday's game. Crazy to me. Crazy how the Dallas Cowboys defense was the fix for the majority of offenses that they faced this year. And it's something that it's hard to imagine how, when supposedly you have a roster built up on stars. You had a roster built up on guys with a lot of promise. And we'll get into that soon, man. But yeah, nonetheless, the defense, no sacks yesterday. Very few pressures on Justin Herbert. And at the same rate in the first half that you saw the Dallas Cowboys go up and put 17, it looked like the Chargers could do what they wanted whenever they wanted. In fact, Justin Herbert was 23 for 29 yesterday for 300 yards. That's crazy. 23 for 29. It was wide open. The lanes were wide open for him yesterday. All right. George Pickens back on track, like we mentioned in the prediction as well. 130 yards on 7 receptions for a touchdown. I had him going for 2, but he had 1, but 130 yards nonetheless. So he got back on track. But yesterday, folks, story comes out. Jane Slater has the scoop. What happened with Trayvon Diggs, the concussion? Trayvon Diggs confides in Jane Slater and says, Jane, I got this concussion, mounting the TV on this pole outside. The thing fell, hit me in the head. And that's the story that Jane Slater reported. Folks, I don't know about y'all, but I'm not buying none of that, okay? If that were the scenario, that Trayvon Diggs, who said, hey, I was trying to be a handyman and install this television myself, if that was to happen, why would both the Cowboys and Trayvon Diggs withhold that story, right, for weeks? Why would they withhold that story for multiple weeks and have the fans, the media speculating as to what is going on? Makes zero sense. And I'm not buying it per se. Me, personally, no. I think that this is a story that Trayvon Diggs and his camp, they came up with, and they're using Jane Slater to try to build back his reputation. They're using Jane Slater in particular, somebody that's believable, right? They didn't use Clarence Hill because a lot of fans, quite honestly, they don't like Clarence for a particular reason. They didn't use Calvin Watkins, right? They didn't go to Joe Hoyt. They didn't go to Dallas media, right? The Dallas Cowboys' own PR. They didn't go to them, right? They used Jane Slater from the NFL Network to pump out this story. And I just don't understand how, if that's the story, it was withheld for weeks. Makes zero sense. Now, the other thing that I want to touch is this roster that we're dealing with right now on the Dallas Cowboys. We need to really look at it and say, all right, these are the players and everybody else we can change. I went through the list early, and You guys let me know if I'm wrong or if I'm missing somebody. But for me, the players that I'm bringing back 100% for next year, 2026, and are guys that I need to have on the roster: Dak Prescott, Javonte Williams, CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, Ryan Flanoy, right? Jake Ferguson, Tyler Smith, Cooper Beebe, Tyler Booker. On the defensive side, Donovan Ezaraku, Quinnen Williams, and you know what? Demarion Overshown, because I want to see him a full year after, right, recovery. But other than that, that's it. Brandon Aubrey. Everybody else, besides those guys that I just mentioned, I can do without. I can change and upgrade. It's nearly impossible to change all the other players, right? You're going to bring some of those guys back. But all of the other guys, I can change. The Guytons, the Terrence Steeles, right? The Cavante Turpin, Osa Digizua, Kenny Clark, right? I can do without. Me personally. And this has been a frustrating year. I understand that. But the guys that I mentioned, I think are guys that's your core. Other than that, everybody else, you're going to have to earn your job, because I'm going out there trying to get better talent via the draft, via free agency, via trade. Jerry Jones showed us this year that he's willing to make trades. You can't stop now, Jerry. You cannot stop now. All right? You're going to have a hard time re-signing George Pickens and dealing with free agency. Brandon Aubrey's a free agent as well. We're going to have a difficult time, but you got now a couple of months to figure that out. Listen, folks, let me know what your thoughts are below. Go Cowboys.